Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of UDS Interviews, our series where we chat to interesting people from around the world. Now, my guest this week is a band who blend a mixture of dream pop, grunge, garage rock, and a healthy dose of other influences into what I consider to be one of the most delicious audible cocktails of 2022. And that's a metaphor. I don't know if it works, but I'm going to use it anyway. But I'm here talking all about their upcoming album with the lovely Annette from Shoun Shoun. Annette, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm fine. Hello there. Yeah, I haven't done that many interviews yet, so we'll see how this goes.
Despite, me fumbling through that, I actually have. You just wouldn't know it. But anyway, how was your Christmas and New Year's? This is the first interview on the channel since 2021. So how's your time off been?
Weird, let's say. Many plans that didn't go ahead, so we just spontaneously did other things instead. Yeah, I'm from Berlin, so we were supposed to go to Berlin, and that didn't happen. Everything just, suddenly last minute tests and 14 days quarantining in Berlin. So we went to Wales instead. But, it was cool. We went to Snowdonia, and it's lush.
That's a good alternative. I should have known. I should have started this properly with a Wie geht's?
Yeah, well, there you go. Es geht mir gut, danke.
Meine Deutsch ist sehr schlecht. So that's all I'm going to do.
Oh, I'm disappointed. This interview is not in German. What? I'm going to hang up now.
Ich spreche eine kleine bisschen. But anyway, well, obviously we're already learning a little bit about each other. And one of the ways that I get to get to know my friends a bit better is asking the hard-hitting questions. And that is, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you say best represents you as a person?
Oh my God. Okay, the sandwich has to be fresh and crunchy and a bit juicy. So, so it's probably got some kind of nice crunchy salad in it, because I'm into that. And a really, really yummy garlicky dressing. And then in the middle, I don't know, it could be all sorts. It could be, admittedly, bacon, possibly, or some nice mozzarella, fresh basil. How about that?
That's a very decadent sandwich. That's a sandwich you have on a special occasion. So I'm fully on board for that. But yeah, that's a good combination of things.
I like my food. I'm into food. Yeah.
Excellent. That is my kind of person. I don't trust anyone who says they're not into food. So that is a good start. And I guess in a way, the sandwich could also be a representation of the band, because the band is also a mixture of a lot of different components that sort of come together to be something quite delicious. I not just a pretty face. I do plan these things out. But anyway, speaking of music, your debut album Monsters and Heroes is out in exactly 2 weeks today, if I've got my dates correct, on the 28th of January. Yeah. And it's been a long time coming, but for people who may have listened to your previous stuff, what can they expect from this record compared to your EPs and previous releases?
I think the band is more together. We've recruited an amazing drummer just before lockdown, and that's Giuseppe, and he's kind of really was put the finishing touches on the band now. So, but the recordings are literally half are from a year and 2 years ago, and the other half are from now.
Wow.
So now because of this bloody lockdown, everything just goes a bit, all over the place. You just can't go about it as you would normally, let's say. So, and what people can expect, that we are possibly a bit edgier in parts, a bit noisier. And I think some of the songwriting has improved, hopefully. I hope.
I mean, I would say so. I've been listening to your back catalogue, sort of, in the preparation for this, and I have to say, I've been lucky enough to get an early preview of the album, and I think it is my favourite work. As you say, it definitely has that angst, and I think when the world is slowly falling apart as it is, you do need something with a bit of angst to sort of get yourself going. And I've definitely been listening to it in the mornings to try and get me through some of the January blues. So it's definitely worked in that regard. But it's interesting that you said that it was sort of recorded in 2 blocks. How did you sort of find sitting on so much material, or sort of starting in the past, waiting a while, and then restarting? How was that process?
The thing is that at the time when I started recording the other ones, that wasn't meant to be just yet an album. We just took it step by step. We just thought, let's go in the studio for a couple of days, get these songs down, and we had a few single releases, so we've released some of them previously, and then now it's a collection of previous singles as well as new tunes. So it wasn't, I knew there wanted to be an album at some point, but I wasn't sure when it would happen. So I didn't want to just not do anything or not release anything, because then you feel like you're not achieving anything as a band. And something, I think it was a good idea, because we've had quite a bit of radio play. We've found, we've made lots of contacts and networking. And because you have something to talk about, you're just not empty-handed for 2 years.
Absolutely, because you've had radio play from like Canada, Germany. You've had sort of people listening to you guys all over the world.
Yeah, it's starting to work. And I have to kind of say it's also thanks to Twitter. I've discovered Twitter, and I know at first I was not sure what to do with it. It's like, well, who are you? What do I do? And then I realized that there's a really good musicians network, as well as people who blog on radio stations, and they're all in there together, and it's nice. I found a lot of very supportive people, and much, much more so than, say, Facebook. Facebook seems all very slow coach. There's nothing going on.
No, I in my day job, I for better or worse, work in social media, and I just don't see the appeal of Facebook. It's either very, very angry people shouting into the void, or it's advertisements, whereas Twitter still feels like there's still a lot of shouting into the void sometimes, but there does seem to be a lot of community, and you can find your niche and your audience there, and I do find myself gravitating more towards there than anywhere else. So it's interesting, because you guys are pretty much DIY top to bottom, aren't you? And it's good to see that that you've managed to sort of build this audience and sort of get the word out there really all by yourself, which is really inspiring.
Yeah, it's I'm inspired by people who are like that, or who have gone that way. Say Du Blonde, I don't know, that band. She's totally now gone away from all the labels and has released everything herself, the latest album, and it was one of the top albums of Radio 6. So it can be done. And then there's, what's his name, Bob Vylan.
Yes, I love Bob Vylan.
That's I admire that, and he's got the real bite, and he's got he's just got everything going for him, and that gives me strength, seeing people like that aren't just constantly craving for the record labels to find them or something. It's just find the people who like your band. That doesn't need to be a label. I think it's just, they are out there. And that's what I mean with Twitter. I found that they are out there, and I don't feel so alone anymore with my DIY attitude, But we've got really good friends, really cool people who, so my husband, he's been recording the band, so it's proper at home in the loft or in the garage. We've been recording, or just hire a space somewhere, bring your portable studio, set it up. I mean, genuinely, this album has been recorded in 3 days when you look at the time that we spent in a studio, and then we did a few days doing a few extra guitar takes or a bit more extra vocals. But honestly, it's the cheapest ever the way this has been produced and recorded, but people are people around us are talented, and I'd like to think, and they made it all happen. The same with the video shoots. We've got mates who were doing the camera for us, and then I added the videos myself, and it's all work, but you learn a lot, all the time.
Well, that's it. And it's always so much more satisfying when you can see a project through from the beginning all the way through all the stages right to the end. And it just goes to show that, you can have all the equipment, all the money in the world. If you don't have the talent behind it, it's not going to produce anything good. And the opposite side of that is if you have, all the talent, the drive, the inspiration, you can do it on a budget. And that is the good thing, as you say, with social media, the internet and everything like that. Particularly, I find in lockdown, people have realized that if you've got the time and the passion, you can make some really cool stuff just in your bedroom. And
I mean, that's virtually what I did in lockdown when I recorded our single Stuck. It was honestly inspired by this whole rubbish situation, and I felt so trapped. And then I just thought, well, this is my theme. That's why I filmed something in my garage. That's where I wrote the song, and it all came together. It suddenly had this whole round story. It's like, well, that's exactly what happened. So let's film it like that. Let's tell the story like that. It's totally honest,
I'm not just saying this just to sort of stroke your ego or anything like that, but I was showing one of my friends the music video to Stuck, not about sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes before we started recording now. And his response was, this is the kind of music I want to make. And and I think that's sort of the idea, is that, you see that, and, it is sort of, it's not sort of, a multi-million pounds produced thing that's sort of like, it's out of reach. It is music for the people, by the people, which is a weirdly like political way of saying something that probably doesn't need to be political, but you get what I mean, that it's very much more of a community sort of feel that doesn't sort of add a blocker between the artist and the audience, if that makes sense. I
want it to be self-empowering. You can do it. It's like, just do it, just go for it. People often ask me, how do you even start writing a song? How do you just have to get started, and then the rest will follow? But you have to dare to take that first step. But hey, it's a lot of work.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And it's maybe that's the thing that people should do this year. Maybe 2022 should be the year that people finally make those, write down those songs that have been going around in their heads. But another thing that people can do this year, because I'm the king of segues, is see you guys out on tour at some various places around the UK, because you're already filling out your diary with a lot of tour dates, including a album launch show at the Rough Trade in Bristol on the 28th. Yes. So you guys must be super excited for that.
Oh, I am really excited, and at the same time really anxious because of the situation out there.
Of course, yeah.
Oh my God, it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. I mean, at the moment, everybody is still up for it and still available, but I think until it actually happens, I'm not counting on anything. But I'm so looking forward to it, because I received the prints yesterday on how the CD looks. We don't have vinyl at the moment, but again, that's a little bit a big budget. So we have CDs coming, but they look gorgeous, and I'm so proud of them. And so that will be the big launch. Our album, we're going to play with two amazing bands. They're called Milky and Repo Man. I want people to check them out here from Bristol. They are awesome. And and then we were really lucky. We had many gig offers already for this year, which also tells me that there's a change in pace for us, because that's not happened before. This is really? A new thing, that people approach us more and more and offer gigs, and also not just here, but we're actually getting out there a little bit more.
Excellent. Yeah. I think you've got a last minute gig this Saturday, if I read correctly as well.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Of course, it's Friday. I'm still getting used to the week after Christmas and everything like that. I keep forgetting what day of the week it is. But yeah, you must be excited to be playing. Is it the Thekla?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool venue. Good old boat. Yeah. Sticky floors. When you walk across, you literally have the.
All the best venues are a little bit sticky and a little bit grimy, aren't they? But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to. Unfortunately, I'm on the other side of the south coast. I'm in Kent, so I'm hoping that you guys, I can see you guys at a show I sort of London way sometime soon. So
London is a difficult one. I don't know if anybody has anything to offer to, like London way or Brighton or that direction. I'm empty-handed at the moment. I don't know where to go. I don't have any connections that way.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys on the road sometime. But not that we won't even want to dwell on lockdowns and anything like that, but one thing that we've all been doing a lot more over the past sort of year and a half is consuming a heck of a lot more media, whether it be movies, TV shows, video games, all that kind of stuff. We've all been forced to do a lot more of that. So with that in mind, if you could have your song feature in anything at all, so nothing's off the table, what would be your dream thing to feature one of your songs?
Oh, this is a hard one, but I think it would be something like Stranger Things.
Oh.
That sort of thing, because I'm into everything that's slightly dark. My songwriting is a bit dark. I love films that have that dark edge, that undercurrent. Yes, that sort of thing would be amazing. Any kind of David Lynchy production, that would obviously be also suitable.
I can see your stuff in a David Lynch project. I think, there's some sort of weird avant-garde thing like that. I can definitely see that. That would be a film I would definitely see.
That would be dreamy, eh? Yeah, so there.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that with Mr. Lynch. But that is pretty much it for my questions today. So the last question that we always end with is about as silly as about half the questions I've already asked you, but it is tradition, and that is we are UDS, which, if you can kind of see behind my head, stands for Upside Down Shark. And don't ask me why we settled on the name Upside Down Shark. We thought it up many years ago, and we're in way too deep to change it now. But be that as it may, what would you say your favourite shark is? And it can be fictional, it could be a real shark, it could be a shark from nature or from a movie or anything like that. But what would you say your favourite shark is?
Oh God, I don't have a favourite shark. That song with the shark in it?
What the Baby Shark song?
Yes.
Okay.
Something that has had some impact on my life simply because I have children, and so it's not really my favorite one, but it had the most influence on my life. I can
appreciate that. It has sort of, for a generation younger than all of us, it has definitely left its mark. So yes. That is a very, very significant shark. But that is pretty much it. So the last serious question I have to ask you is, until people can find you at a show or meet you in person, where can people find you online?
Oh, definitely Bandcamp. And our name, I know people don't know how to pronounce it. It's Shoun Shoun.
Shoun Shoun. I'm sorry. I will overdub it with Shoun Shoun at the start like that. I'm very sorry. But
that's okay, because so many people don't know. And, to be honest, I just came up with a name and I loved how it looked. And I knew that I was inviting trouble because nobody has a clue. The only ones that seem to be able to spell it, say it properly, are the French.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they have no trouble saying it straight away.
Well, in my defense, I can barely speak English, so I'm lucky if I can even pronounce my name correctly. So But to get back to your question, so Bandcamp, definitely, like I mentioned before, we're on Twitter. As well as Instagram, but and then on the streaming platforms. But I would say always go to Bandcamp first. It's where we have our CDs for sale, our merch, some really cool T-shirts. Yep.
I think go there first. If you're a fan of a band, that's the first port of call, I'd say.
Excellent. Well, we will make sure to put a link to that in the description below so everyone can check that out nice and easy. But that is pretty much it. So all that's left for me to say is, Annette, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Oh, cheers, Tom. Cheers for inviting us for an interview with me. The band isn't here, just me, but hey. Next time it will be everyone. And we can have a beer. Okay. Let's do that.